Our speaker is Radhia Besbes Krid from University of Sfax in Tunisia. Today, she presents her talk on the topic, Love Against the Grain, the Expression of Love in Neurodivergent Poetry.
Hello, this is Radhia Besbes Krid from the University of Sfax, Tunisia, and I would like to thank the International Institute of Love Studies for this opportunity to take part in the third International Conference on Love and Relationship Studies with a presentation entitled Love Against the Grain, the Expression of Love in Neurodivergent Poetry. The presentation consists of the following parts: introduction, statement of the problem, aim of the study, methodology, findings and analysis, discussion of the findings, and finally the conclusion. The answer they want isn't what it is, it's what it isn't. These two lines are taken from Joan Lindbergh's The Autistic Alice, and they resonate with neurodivergent studies and scholarship because they expose how dominant neurotypical systems privilege negation. The answer is usually shaped through shared expectations of neurodivergent individuals, which neurodiversity studies and scholarship reject. Neurodiversity scholars advocate just as all of nature is part of biodiversity, so all people belong to a neurodiverse group of humans, with each contributing to social functioning and evolution. The rise of neurodivergent literature also marks a cultural shift, with writers foregrounding cognitive difference not as pathology, but as a way of reimagining a different cognitive identity or different narrative of identity. In neurodivergent poetry, which is written by neurodivergent writers, we actually discover how these writers articulate the intricate ways in which they experience and perceive the world. Neurodivergent poetry offers a different representation of lived experiences, and thereby it raises the need to rethink representations and expressions of experiences and emotions. The experience of love. Now, while in mainstream canonical romance poetry, love and related emotions are often expressed through neurotypical and standard models of empathy, of desire, and emotional urgency, poems written by neurodivergent poets reveal other affective grounds. In neurodivergent poetry, love is expressed through sensory attunement, through repetition, clarity of expression, everyday detail, and an embodied awareness of difference. Now, the argument of this study is the following. Neurodivergent poetry provides access to identities and lives that have often been misunderstood. And the study intends to explore the representations of love in the poetry of two autistic poets in order to show how alternative sensory and cognitive experiences both interrogate and reshape dominant conceptions of this emotion. The study has two major objectives. First, to show that neurodivergent poetry deconstructs neurotypical romantic ideals and reimagines love as an embodied experience rather than a purely interpersonal feeling. Second, to expand our understanding of what it means to feel love and to communicate it. In order to reach these objectives, the study selected 4 poems. 2 poems from The Kissing of Kissing by Hannah Emerson, a non-speaking autistic poet. 2 poems from The Autistic Alice by Joan Lindbergh, a a British poet who has obsessive compulsive disorder and Asperger syndrome, which is a form of autism. These poems are selected because they engage the autistic identity, foreground the poet's expression of distinct forms of intimacy, challenge the myth that autistic people are emotionally deficient, and provide two different perceptions of love experiences. The theoretical framework chosen for the analysis of the poems is neurodiversity studies, which acknowledges that neurological differences are not deficits, they are natural variations in human cognition. The analysis of the poems will be grounded in autistic experiences and autistic ways of representation. And the second framework is affect theory, which is an interdisciplinary framework that explores the embodied dimension of a human emotional experiences. Affect theory focuses on affect and bodily responses. It does not focus on labeling and verbalizing emotion. Affect is not merely what we feel, it is how our bodies are affected and oriented in relation to others. According to affect theory, or drawing on affect theory, love in neurodivergent poetry is more about embodied regulation, orientation, and attachment, more than verbalization or labeling of emotions. Now we reach the finding part. Come home actually signals an affective event. Now, for autistic subjects whose sensory and social environment provoke emotional dysregulation, coming home signals an affective event where they experience less tension, less social vigilance, less masking, less stimulation. This is what we find in the poem. Trying to become the freedom that is the kissing, freedom that we want, really trying to find the place that is free from trying, the place that is free from trying to control behavior, control self, being vigilant to social, let's say, rules. So in Come Home, love gives meaning to home and makes it feel safe. Home is the space, love is the space that gathers affect. Love provides relief from external intensity and emotional holding. It provides safety. Love circulates between bodies. Love is both a shared space and a shared sensory comfort. In Beauty Feast, we experience another form of love. We experience intensity. We experience love as expansion. Beauty creates intensity. Feast also creates intensity. And the lover surrenders to such an intensity. Unlike home, feast amplifies the feeling. Love exposes the lover to a form of sensory connection. It exposes the lover to a desire to connect. The love, the only kissing union that helps union become nothing. Freedom just becoming, greeting, needing nothing. Heaving reality, helping reality become, beauty kissing tree, becoming, just becoming free. Yes. In The Oxygen Man, we experience love as necessity, and this is what is suggested through the metaphor of oxygen. Oxygen is invisible. It sustains life, and it is also a necessity. For a neurodivergent navigating sensory overload, social confusion, and anxiety, love is a necessity. It's like the home in Come Home. It restores breath, it regulates the nervous system, it proffers safety, and it is shared survival. One of your early tricks was making oxygen. Do that once more for me. Take the manganese ions, the ones the flowers use, bind them up with ligands, stick them in solution, add your hypochlorite, wait. We'll wait. Maybe minutes, hours. You know, I don't. But then we'll see the bubbles rise. In Alice in Check, we experience love as control. The bedroom is a battle scene. Alice at one end, her mother at the other, two queens on a chessboard. Alice is outnumbered, but she holds her own because she feels the knight whose name is No. And boldly he has snicker-snacked his bloody way straight through her mother's forces. See them on the floor. The choking collared dress, the orange flower Yuki taste, the frilly dot bow monster. They want to make Alice into a girl for looking at, stop her tongue and force her skin to scream. The metaphor of chessboard suggests that the poem stages anxiety and uncertainty. Love is not a space where one feels safe. It is rule-bound. The beloved is an object around which the self must carefully align. Every move in the relationship is to be perfectly calculated and measured. In this poem, love is represented as a source of tension and anxiety, just like Beauty Fist. We reach the discussion part. Love Against the Grain suggests going beyond mainstream normative love narratives, which value romantic verbalization, emotional legibility, physical and sexual connection, and dramatic tension. Neurodivergent poetry, however, maps different poles of neurodivergent love. It values attention to detail, spatial safety, sensory connection, and routine. In the four selected poems, love is conceived as a space where one can exist and feel safe, an experience of intensity, a necessity, a source of tension. And in all these poems, we experience love as circulating, as a regulating force, or intensifying force. So love oscillates between the two, as regulating force and as intensifying force. By foregrounding atypical forms of love and relationships, neurodivergent poetry challenges the cultural assumption that autistic or cognitively divergent individuals lack emotional depth or empathy. Instead, it reveals forms of love and intimacy that are less about sameness and more about attunement to difference. Now we come to the conclusion. Love, as expressed in neurodivergent poetry, uncovers a radical reimagining of intimacy and connection. Such a claim interrogates neurotypical affective grammars and expounds our understanding of what it means to feel love and to communicate it. At the end, I would like to quote Berland from Cruel Optimism. The intimate is everywhere. You bring it everywhere, and it circulates everywhere. It registers as intensities of attachment and cognition, inferred and explicit, that pass across people, groups, and movements. Read through the lens of neurodiversity studies, This quote suggests that love is not only confined to neurotypical individuals. Its intimacy circulates as affective intensity, shaping how neurodivergent individuals deconstruct traditional romantic ideals. Thank you.